Welcome to Trading Lounge and the S&P 500 for the 19th of September. So this is the pattern that we're left with at the moment. So we've got a couple of choices here. The first one is that considering this a top here, we can look at this as an A wave here, then an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here to make the B wave, and then 5 waves up here to make a C wave here for the B, and then having a move down here as wave C here, or possibly even wave 3 here. The other move that we've been considering all week, which I'm a little bit more in favor of, is having this situation down here where we have wave 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave up here, and then an ABC for the fourth wave here, and then a fifth wave moving up higher here to be a top, or even to be wave 3 here, which I think is probably more the case, and wave 4. What we can do here is that, let's just for a moment, if this market is going to be wave 4 to wave 5 here, then we'd be looking for 5 waves to the upside in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here, like this. So this little first move here is not quite finished in terms of 5 waves yet. So once it is finished as 5 waves, then that will take us up to 3020, 3030, sort of vary these tops here, and then we're going to see an ABC correction come back in 3 waves. So if we see that in 3 waves there, then we can look at moving in long at that point, but we'll have a closer look at that. So as I mentioned yesterday, I think this is the case here, and we wouldn't really turn bearish unless the 2950 became the retested resistance. I was expecting this to pull back a little bit further here, but obviously it's news driven, and we've seen that sharp move to the upside there. So we're basically, in a nutshell, still vibrating across this particular level here. However, the pattern is maturing now, so we're getting to the end of it, whichever it's going to be. So for the back to the 1 hour chart here, considering this a top in play, we can look at this as wave A or wave 1, and then we're really looking at pretty much an expanded flat in this particular correction here, because we've taken out the low here and then taken out the high here. So an A and a B and a C wave up here, and we'll take a closer look at this structure moving in through here, and then from wave B down to wave C here. If it's going to be like bullish, then we will look at this as wave 1 here, and the thing here is that we'll have 5 waves up here, and then we'll have a 3 wave move back here, like this here. So we can simply do a few things here. We can go long above this particular point here, this wave B, little wave B here. So this will be, let's copy this text here, a little A wave here, B wave here, and C wave here. So we can go along there. We can also draw a line through here, but in both cases, this move up here is also 5 waves as well here. So we won't really know until we get this pattern here. So this wave B here being breached will be the evidence of a move higher, and we'll be going into a 3rd wave at that time. The other point here too is that if this just continues to move up and have very small corrections on the way back, then we need to look for an entry at the top of subgroup 1 here, which is the 30 here, the 3030, and that normally plays out in terms of, well, from here we'd see just a little arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. This move down here normally stops at at the 20 here, and then just normally then moves up from that point. So we'd take these highs here in that case, and that would be safe at that time. I have seen this here Probably, 20% of the time come down and spike into 1.5 here, so 15 here, and then move up from that point. So just be mindful of that. This is all about getting support on top of 30 here. So the lowest it ever comes really is down to the 0.5 here, but normally at this point here. So we'll look for support on top of that. So that's another little trick in the box that we can use for further upside at this point. So what we need to focus on at the moment is we can have a, I mean, this just didn't finish off properly here. It had just basically wave 1 and 2 and going into wave 3 here. It never had 4 and 5, so it's basically in 3 waves here. So this count as an A and a B and a C here is quite probable. So this is what we need to be mindful of. And as I've mentioned before, another thing that you can sort of take away from all of this is that the 3,000 here is the number that we're working with, and the market is sticking to that. It hasn't accepted it or rejected it. Well, I would say that it's more accepted it than rejected it yet at this stage. So we look at group 1 here as the holding the resistance, and then we also look at group 2 here being the support. So really when it's outside of this space here, then then we can head on down further. But in this case, we're also looking at the 2950. So, but this will be a catalyst here. If this become the 72 here will become the resistance here, then that normally tells me that this is being rejected at that point here. So it's quite handy group 1 and group 2 because it holds the market to that particular point. If you're going to go long in significant numbers or contracts, then you really want to be on this side or this side. But in this case, because we've got a few other things going on, we need that 2950 also there. But we can build in short positions with the 72 there as the resistance there. So just going into the tick chart here. Sort of focus in on this here for a moment. So I can see clearly we've got wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1 and 2 here. Then 1 and 2 is clear, all of wave 3 is clear, 4 back here, and then I'm looking for the 5th wave here for this. So don't really have 5 waves up here for that, but I'm going to put that there just for the time being, and I'll leave that there, and then that will leave wave 5 here, and this is 100 ticks, so maybe I need to bring this down into 20 ticks or something, but we'll look for that top of wave 3. Wave 4 can come back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and then we're looking for wave 5 up here of wave C here. It may not be that high, so it might just come here somewhere. And that can be wave B here or wave 1 here. Okay, so what we can do is take this here. Let's just imagine that comes to this point here. So if you can just adjust this, if it comes higher, what I was sort of thinking is that if it does move higher, it doesn't look like it though, but if it does, then we've got all this. We've got the 3,000 back as support at the 15, the 61.8% retracement level here. So yeah, adjust that. I mean, it would be nice if the 61 just comes straight on top of the 3,000 then, because then we can look at if this move from wave 1 to 2 here, which I think is the case. Would have to draw over this side of the tick chart, would come down as an A wave onto the 10, the B and the C wave here, and then it's just a matter of taking that long trade from that point there, or putting this across here and going long from that point. But it's the same thing, you know how we talk about the classic trading levels pattern? It's the same with when a market moves through a trend line as well. So when a market moves through a trend line, if I can just draw one over here, what normally happens is has the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then it comes back and sits on it and then moves off. Sometimes it can do a double test. You just need to know the wave count, and then it moves off. So just always, I'm saying that double retest there because of stop losses. You need to keep them out of the way. You can get that second retest there. So just be mindful of that. But the way that it migrates from one to the other here is what is the takeaway here for this. So when you're coming through here, it will be like this here. So then you can look at this like this, and then take that top there out. And mind you might get that second retest, but then up from that point. So at least you've done all the right things. And if you do all the right things over a period of time, you're going to come out in front. Even if you have 3 or 4 losses in a row, you still need to move forward in the right way, and that's with the right setup and also the right risk profile as well. Okay, so that's it, really. Can you go long here? Yes, but I would keep the position very small, and you would need to keep the stop out of the way below this little wave 2 down here for that. Yeah, I think that's really about all, actually. So yeah, look, the book is still open on what we've actually got here, but I'm, as I mentioned before, I'm more inclined to look at the market like this here in this instance. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Report unless it's done.
Really?
Just holding up some floats.